This is the Wookiee talking. Okay, so let's put layer 5 to layer 2, the texture layers, inside of a group. We made 4 or 3 textures in the break. So let's put them into a group called texture. So I'll just select them all, click create a new group, call this group texture. Texture. And then I'll select layer 1, that's the eye, that's the E inside of the eye. And the background copy, which is the eye shadow. Select both of them and put them into a group by making a group like that. Call this eye, perhaps features. Eye features. Yes, next thing we'll do is we'll include the butterfly effect. Have any of you seen the movie The Butterfly Effect? All 4. Have they made more afterwards?
Yeah.
What?
There are 4 movies. Or 3.
Okay, so we're talking about the one with Ashton Kutcher, and they made several after that.
I'll just check.
Okay. That's insane. I need to watch those then. Oh, so finally I mentioned a movie where a lot of you have watched it. Yay! Okay, I think I'll just...
Maybe just 2.
Okay, so they're not named the Butterfly Effect.
They're named the Butterfly Effect.
They are?
Yeah.
Okay. Insane. Okay, so next off we'll put the butterfly inside of this eye. So let's just find the butterfly. Let's say file open and find this one called butterfly number 1. And we'll just use the quick selection tool just to quickly select parts of the wing. We don't need the body. Well, we can take some parts of the body if you feel like it. And if you select too much like this, always remember you can always Alt, hold down Alt and then click and drag to remove parts. Yeah, and with quick selection tool you don't need to hold down Shift to add. As one of the few selection tools, you do not need to actually hold Shift down to add more, where you need to do that with kind of like every other tool, every other selection tool. Okay, so I'm happy with this selection. I could actually just, without extracting the picture, I can actually just with my black arrow move it to i4.psd and release it. Are you able to do so? Is anyone having problems doing so? Cool. I'll move this to the top so it's not yet being affected by the texture, and zoom in perhaps a bit. Okay, so next off I'll transform this so it actually perhaps fits below the eye. And before I transform it more than I already have done, I'll make a copy of it. So just Alt click and drag with the black arrow and you'll make a copy of it. Hold down Alt, click and drag while doing so, and you'll make a copy of it. Just Alt, yes. You need to use the black arrow. The black arrow. Okay, so, and not this one down here, not the path selection tool. Please stay away from that tool unless you're using pen tool. Use this one up here. Okay, so I just made mine invisible. I switched off invisibility. I switched off visibility, so it becomes invisible. And then with this layer number 6, I'll also try transforming it even more. This one down here. By after clicking Edit Free Transform, I'll just right click and choose Warp. Warp. And then we can try actually making this butterfly wing the same shape as the skin beneath the eye. Oh yeah. Perhaps kind of like this. Use a blend mode. Try to figure out which one looks best. And for some of you, you'll think that perhaps the best one is something that lightens up. I'm kind of like into very dark art. So most pictures that I ever make have a tendency to look a bit horror-ish. So it's not as common that I use the ones that brighten up the picture. It's more actually the ones that darken the picture I often end out using. But perhaps you're a happy person when it comes to making art, and then perhaps you'll choose some of the lighter ones. I like this one. Hard light, that's my preference. So I'll just lower the opacity perhaps, just so it's not too obvious. And afterwards I'll just start with my eraser, removing the sharp transitions. With a low opacity and my eraser, I'll start just making these areas not stand out as much. And it's starting to look nice. And since we got you can just try making it even more nice later on. But let's take the other butterfly wing. Before starting to change that, I'll make a copy of it as well, just to be sure that I have one original left. I'm perhaps gonna try changing transforming it to be placed somewhere up here at the top. Using a blend mode, I'll try blending it in. Yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, black, totally black. No, it looks like crap. So try figuring out which is the best. Ooh. Actually, Moonspell, they made an album called The Butterfly Effect. The band I'm going to next week. Oh yeah, I'm going to Copenhagen, people, to listen to sweet metal. Yeah. Well, they are kind of wussies nowadays. Well, they're not as heavy as they used to be, but they're kind of dark. They're dark. They're more back to the gothic roots, but not as evil as they used to be. Okay, perhaps, yeah. I think they're soft. but you probably think they're. Some of you think they're. Okay, enough about the moon spell. Ooh. Yeah, let's just. Yeah, I think I'll just brighten it up just to be kind of like happy going person. Let's make it lighter. Well, if you can't see the skin behind, then probably you use the blend mode, which was too much, or perhaps you should lower the opacity some more.
I think there's too much text.
Text?
No, I can't speak it.
Oh, okay. Texture. Too much texture.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, perhaps remove some of it later on. May I see your picture? How does it look? Yeah, it's very red. You really have a red picture.
Yeah, I know.
Whoa. Red, 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 red. Red rum. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so you see the butterfly, it's actually a good idea when trying to make an artistic approach to a picture. It's a good idea to use stuff like butterfly wings, and also actually dragonflies have excellent wings. So you could find pictures of butterflies and dragonflies, and perhaps even leaves from trees, perhaps. Spiders! Spiders, okay, I don't know if spiders is... Perhaps spiders are more... I'm not sure they can be used as frequently in as many types of pictures as butterfly wings can. Spiders... They can, okay, yeah. Okay, so I recommend using spiders. Use some spiders. Are you a fan of spiders?
Yeah.
Do you have a spider yourself?
I have plenty at home.
Okay, so real, in
No, my friend had like tarantula.
okay,
I never did. I don't have pets.
okay, and you try to just annoy the heck out of that tarantula, just to get it to bite you.
No, I was petting it.
Okay,
And
okay,
feeding it.
okay. So it didn't
It's
bite.
really cool.
Awesome,
And hairy and weird on your skin.
nice. Okay, I like spiders as well. They're lovely, lovely creatures. They are misunderstood creatures. Yeah. Oh my god. Well, they are nice. Well, any creature is actually nice, almost. Oh, enough of the philosophy. I'm getting sentimental up here. Now I'm thinking about snails being wonderful creatures. Okay, so next step is to actually use some ornaments to kind of like frame this picture up. And I'm just gonna close some of these pictures down that I got running up here. Boom. Don't save. And this one. So I'm gonna click to open up, and the next picture I'm gonna take this one called ornament tree. And I want you to just use the crop tool to crop this one out. And I want you to extract this ornament. You have, let's say, how long do you need to extract this? Remove the background. How long do you need? Like 20 seconds or 5 minutes?
30
30 seconds.
Ja, kan jeg,
30 seconds. Yes. Cool. So remove the background from this picture.
so we only need one half of this ornament.
Yeah, the one on the left. Are you approximately done? Does anyone need more time? So I expect if no one is saying I need more time, then I'll just move on. Cool. I'll do it my own way. Select color range. Set the fuzziness perhaps and just click once on the background. Click OK. There we have it. Yep, that's it. Move it to the I4. Boom. And you notice that perhaps there are some items which didn't become as good as they could have been. That's because I did not contract afterwards. I did not use contract afterwards. I can always use that later on. So let's say, but you really have to pay attention to how much you remove when using contract. So I'll just, again, after having moved this ornament into my eye, I'll just select it again by, how do I select a layer, the pixels inside of a layer?
Command and click on this.
Yes. Command click on the layer thumbnail, the icon right here. Command click like that, so it's selected, and then you can just say modify and contract, and I'll contract it not more than 1 pixel. Not more than 1 pixel. If I did 5 pixels, most of the ornament will be gone when I click to delete. So contract by 1 pixel, and then don't click delete because then this will happen. So don't click delete now. Invert it first, select inverse, and then click delete while you're on the right layer, so you don't delete stuff from another layer. And this should actually remove the white edge on most of your ornaments. Of course, there is some ugly stuff right here. But we'll just ignore that because we're gonna put some extra effects on it, and we won't notice actually that we made a bad extraction. But if you want to make a better extraction, you're welcome to use more time extracting this when you get home, so you don't actually delete some parts that are crucial not to delete. Perhaps you would want to use history brush tool just to make parts visible again. Like that. But I don't want to. Okay, so let's place this ornament somewhere, and right now I'm already getting a feeling that I have too many layers again, so I'm with these butterfly wings I'm gonna select all 3 of them. Some of you perhaps have even more than 3. I'm gonna select all 3 and I'm gonna put them in a group. Create a new group. This group will be called ornaments. Ornaments. What am I talking about? They'll be called butterfly. Oh my god. Perhaps butterfly texture. This is the ornament. Okay. So I'm actually gonna increase the size of this ornament so it's bigger. And normally you would think that's gonna look ugly because the pixels will become bigger. Well, I'm gonna change this ornament to become noisy and have different effects. So actually the decrease in quality will be transferred into not being a lower quality anymore, because I'm putting filters and stuff on top of it, so we won't notice that it's has been reduced in quality. So perhaps make it this size, and I'll just drag a copy of it up to the top. Perhaps put it right around here. Of course, it would be more original if you had different ornaments to put around the picture, but I'm just sticking with this one. Okay, so with the bottom ornament, I'll brighten it up. It's too dark. It's too dark compared to the rest of the picture, so I'll just use levels and just image adjustment levels. Just brighten up. And actually, if you just wanted brightness, you could also have chosen. You're the chosen one. Brightness, contrast inside of image adjustment.
Sorry, how did you do that? Image?
That's image adjustment, brightness, contrast. Actually, what's sweet about brightness contrast is not as much the brightness option, it's actually more the contrast option. That's quite a brilliant thing in here, except it's not brilliant on something that's just one pure color. But it's great when it comes to trying to make features stand out, let's say inside a face. Wrinkles, if you want them to become more in depth on the person. Adding contrast will help a lot. Okay, so I'll just brighten up layer 7. That's what this one on the top, layer 7 copy. It's called by me. It's probably called something else on your computer, and that's okay. So you might be choosing to make this into a smart object now, like we heard yesterday how to create smart objects, but I'm quite sure I'll make it correct the first time around, so I'll just start using filter, noise, add noise, and I'll actually try to make this ornament up here noisy. And you know, if the pixels of this ornament were reduced in quality, by putting noise inside of it, you will not actually notice anymore that there has been a reduction in quality. You'll just notice there's a noise effect on the ornament. So if you put effects on top of something that is bad quality, you can actually save parts of pictures. But of course, they will have this effect instead. So I think I'll just add some noise. You can see what's happening. If I zoom in, see what's happening. It's adding more and more noise. if you put it to monochromatic, it means it's black and white noise. If you put it to not be monochromatic, it's color noise. For me, the color is too much, so I'm just gonna focus on not putting that in. But perhaps you like color noise. Then you just do that. I'm gonna click OK to this. And if I want to use the effect once again on this ornament down here, I just click on the layer and choose filter, and up at the top of our filter we'll notice that add noise is located at the top now, and if you click on that it will have the same settings you just used applied to your layer. So that's a quick way of applying the same effects with the same settings to another layer. Okay, next off we're gonna do something we learned about yesterday as well when working with text. Now we're just gonna do it with the ornament instead. We're gonna put a drop shadow on the ornament. So I'm just gonna double click my layer number 7, and double clicking my layer number 7 will get me inside of the layer style. Double clicking somewhere out here, not on the text because then you'll rename the layer, not on the thumbnail right here, but instead out here, double click out here. And then we get into the layer style menu. We can just click drop shadow and increase the distance, spread and size, so we get some kind of drop shadow going on down here. And right now actually I would like my ornament to stand out even more. So I'm gonna do something I didn't do yesterday, because yeah, we added drop shadow yesterday and we actually also added bevel and emboss, but one thing we didn't do was include a stroke. So let's try including a stroke as well. Kind of makes a cartoonish effect, but sometimes that's admirable for some kind of illustrations or artwork. And you can just, if you think that the stroke is too strong, you can always just change the opacity of it. You could also say it's supposed to be inside or outside, and I actually prefer it to be outside, so it's not going inside my art, because the art is already so slim. There's not much ornament. It's very thin, a thin branch with thin leaves and so on. So I want not this stroke to go inside, but instead be outside. And the color, you don't actually need it to be black. You can actually say this color stroke needs to be, let's say, yellow. I'm gonna click cancel because I don't like that. And okay, inside of the drop shadow you might as well actually, instead of using a black shadow, some of you might think, okay, perhaps shadows are not in fact black. Perhaps shadows are something differently. Perhaps shadows consist of colors. So perhaps I'll change it to be another color. Let's say some shade of dark red, dark blue, dark green, or whatever I feel fitting. I think dark blue is actually kind of cool, so I'm gonna go with that. Go with the flow. And you might, yeah, perhaps bevel and emboss, you'll like that. So if you want, just do it. Boom, 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 boom. Dum, 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 dum. Okay, fine. So if I want to, yeah, just click OK. If your layer style is great now, just compliment yourself. Just feel great about how your layer style looks. But then you're like, oh no, do I have to put all these settings on the other object as well? This one up top? Nope. You just right click on where the effect is, the FX, and then you choose copy layer style. Copy layer style. Then you go to your other layer and choose to right click on it and choose paste layer style.
Or just simply alt and drag.
Yeah, you can also do that. Should we do that instead? Is that what we're doing? That's what we're doing. So let's just alt drag and we'll get a copy. You know, my battery is running out. Can I borrow someone's charger for just like 10 minutes perhaps? Cool.
Oh, sorry, I don't have it here.
Oh, does anyone else have a charger I can borrow for just like 10 minutes? Cool. Okay, so we're gonna do one last thing with this Photoshop file, which is to just one second. I actually think this color, this red, I don't like it. So I'm just going into the ornament and just choosing image adjustment, hue saturation. That's just me. Perhaps you love your red color, but for me it's just I'm just looking at it and it's driving me crazy. I really much prefer complementary colors or contrast colors when put up against each other, but that's just me as a person. That's because I like when things are in contrast. Some of you are more like, we like things when they're in close relation to each other. I don't prefer that. I'm like a rebel. You know, Han Solo. Oh yeah. You know what Star Wars is, right?
He doesn't.
I know, I've never seen.
Okay.
So that equals he doesn't.
So the next lesson, Games of Thrones, and after that Star Wars.
Yeah, let's just say, next time you have me, I'll just put on a Star Wars movie and an episode of Game of Thrones. And then we'll talk about how you can use that for a theme assignment too. Of course, I'm just kidding in case some of you were like, yay, we need to go to Andreas' next class. I'm sorry, I was just joking. I think we'll need somewhat more. Okay, so I'll just settle with that. Okay, next off we'll make some frames. We'll just like we see on this picture right here. We'll make some kind of frames to put it inside of. So how do I do that? We'll just I'll put these ornaments inside of a group called ornaments. And then make a new, no, not a new group, but a new layer. Actually, just go ahead and make 4 layers. Boom, 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 boom. 4 more layers. Just click create new layer icon, make new layer icon down here. It's down there, hiding in the corner. And inside of these, you'll just have a random layer of these 4 selected. Drag a frame with your rectangular marquee tool. And just fill it with, let's say, some kind of gray, some version of gray. Okay. I'll just Alt, backspace click. You see, to fill it with this gray, and perhaps I'll want exactly the same size at the bottom, so I'll just stay on my selection tool and just move this one down to the bottom. That way it's just moving the selection and not the actual content of the layer. And click the layer below, Alt, backspace, just to fill it. And okay, so we have layer 9 and 8 as well, these 2 that have not been filled yet. And I'll just, with my rectangular marquee tool, take this selection I have right here, hold down Alt to remove from selection, and I'll click and drag from outside of the picture to inside of the picture, just to make kind of like a border up here. So you see, you still have this selection active. Then you, still with the same tool, the rectangular marquee tool, just Alt to remove, and then click and drag inside of this rectangular marquee selection. So you got kind of like this border going on. And I'll just fill this not with the same gray, perhaps with a bit lighter gray. And since it's below, you can't see it right now, so I need to move layer 9 to the top, like that. And I want to use exactly the same up here, and I'm gonna put that on a separate layer as well. Gonna put the layer on top, Alt, backspace to fill it with color. Yes. Okay, so we'll just use some kind of blend mode afterwards. Don't do it with these borders yet. Just start out trying to use some blend modes, perhaps on the big frame areas right here. So try with different blend modes. Perhaps you like this one called Darken. It will make a frame which just darkens up that area. Perhaps Multiply. If it's confusing to see this other frame, you can just hide it. And perhaps you actually like this one called Multiply. I think I'm sticking with Multiply. Perhaps it doesn't look as good down at the bottom, so I'm trying it out. Multiply. And perhaps actually it does look nice. I would prefer that my ornaments are actually, now that I see it, I would prefer that my ornaments are in front of the frame. So I'll just move the ornaments on top, like that. So the ornaments are in front of the frames. Since they're in a group, it's really easy to move all ornaments at once. I'll just switch the visibility of these on as well. Perhaps see if I can find a blend mode for them that's great. Perhaps the blend mode they'll need instead is actually not a blend mode, but instead opacity. And perhaps you decide it's not supposed to be gray, this border, it's supposed to be some other color, then you can just go inside of hue saturation, image adjustments, hue saturation, click colorize, meaning adding color, click colorize down here, image adjustments, hue saturation. Yeah, where is that? Image adjustments, you know. And you can just make it some kind of color. I think if I made it red, more red, it would be better. Like that, and then perhaps a blend mode. Overlay, I think. Yeah, I like that. No, I don't, but I'm just trying to sound excited about my new border. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I like that one. Difference. That made some kind of complementary shape that I'm really much into. So I think I'll do the same down here. You heard your picture?
I hate it.
You hate your picture?
It looks so ugly.
Oh no. I'm sorry for you. I'm so sorry for you. And then perhaps I figure out, oh, with these new borders I'll need to do something different with these frames in the back. Yeah, okay, let's just use difference. I don't care. I just want it done. So there we have it. Perhaps use a layer style on these small borders right here to get a drop shadow by the edge. So I'm just gonna double click, choose drop shadow, double click these small edges right here, the edges right here, and then add blend mode. So you can just, not blend mode, sorry, add some drop shadow, change the distance, spread and size perhaps, so you get some kind of drop shadow here, making the depth seem more amazing. Okay, so these were some of the things that I needed to cover today, making using blend modes, putting pictures together, adding textures and so on. And with the right amount of training you'll be able to make pictures, for example like this inside of the art and collage folder. We have one called examples by Andreas. I actually have like 100 examples of this eye on my computer. So there's actually no limits to how you can make this eye. Perhaps I'll find my eye folder. I think it's perhaps here, Andreas. Perhaps here. Art. No. Nope, not there. Oh, here we have it. I think this is the one. Nope, that wasn't it. There we have it, my eye folder. Okay, perhaps not 100, but you can just like make a million versions of this eye, and it's gonna be totally different examples each and every time. You see, I've used this picture so many times in front of class. Perhaps I should be original and do something different. I actually like this one. Oh Oh, this is very feminine. Yeah. Rusty. Rusty like an old chainsaw. I like the blue in this one. There's hope. There's hope inside of it. That's actually a lighting effect I put inside the eye as well. That's a filter. You can try searching through your filters to find cool stuff. Filters, that's the menu. We were using it yesterday, the filters menu. This just looks horrible. Even more horrible. This looks like wood. I actually think I'm done talking. So, what you are going to do now? What you're going to do now is, first off, I'm gonna shut this computer down. No, shut this video down. Oh yeah. I actually think I'm gonna